don't have that theory, by the way, and that's the reason, if I ever meet an alien scientist, what is the first question I would ask? Okay, it's what happened before the Big Bang, because it defines our cosmic roots. But in addition to that, it also will help us figure out how to unify quantum mechanics and gravity, because Einstein's gravity breaks down when we go to the Big Bang, when the density of matter and radiation was infinite. So, for example, if we knew how the universe started, what ingredients you need to put together, how much heat you want to apply to make our universe, you would have a recipe for making a universe. It's just like a recipe for a cake. If you have a recipe for a cake, you can become a baker, okay? If we had the recipe for making the Big Bang, we could apply to the job of God, because one of the defining feature of God is the ability to create a universe. And just think that what we call God could have been a very advanced scientist that did a laboratory experiment, created our universe in it.
Right.
So that's what I would like to ask the aliens.
Well, let me ask you this. When someone from the government tells you about biologics and this crash retrieval program, don't you want to be able to see that somehow?
Of course.
Did you ask if it's possible? Did you try to set up meetings?
Yeah, I when I ask, of course, you encounter a brick wall.
What did they say? What was your question?
Well, when I visited the Pentagon, my question was, is there something like that? And they deny it, okay?
Right.
And then I'm being told maybe it's not inside government, maybe it was delegated to corporations outside government. And, one employee of one of these corporations told me privately, it may not be wrong. So I don't know who to believe. You see, it's just like people tell me stories that I don't know whether to trust until I see it. And I'm very happy to help government figure it out, because it's a misuse of their privileges to attend to data related to what's outside the solar system, right? They're supposed to deal with what happens on Earth, on the surface of Earth.
Right.
National security. They are not supposed to tell us what lies outside the solar system. And I want to help them figure it out. But they don't give me that data, and I don't know if it exists because I have never seen it.
Have you tried to pursue it, though? Have you gone through different channels to try to figure out if there's someone that you can communicate with
so
at
far,
any of these
so far, I didn't get anywhere.
Because it's defense contractors. So that's the current most attractive theory, is that the defense contractors.
It's possible, but
because if you had a project that they were trying to back engineer, those are the people that you'd bring it to. The people that make the actual rockets themselves, the people that make the jets and the spaceships. You'd bring it to them.
Right. But I should tell you that, we always think, AI is the future. We've never used AI in space. And to me, it would sound much more natural if we had a visitor with intelligence, but it's based on AI, not biologics. Because then it can survive the long journey. It will never get bored.
Which is why the biologics is weird.
It's weird.
If they have supposedly or that gives you more of an indication that maybe is something from the ocean. If it's something from inside the ocean, and then it's a biological thing that, at one point in time, there was an advanced civilization that figured out a way to survive under the ocean.
I really admire biology because think about our brain. It's using 20 watts. It's the size of the brain, the human brain, was limited by the metabolic power of the human body. It's using a fifth of the power of the human body. And that's the largest brain that an animal like us can have, given our body size and the amount of food that we use. So it's operating on 20 watts. Then you have these AI systems that are barely, getting to the level of sophistication to imitate it. And they use gigawatts. Yeah. We need nuclear powers. Yeah. And biology figured it out. That's amazing. Also, as much as, self-driving cars are amazing, we don't have self-replicating cars. In nature, you have animals like ourselves. We replicate ourselves. We have kids that can function and consume materials from the environment. Just imagine your car, okay, using the sand or using some stuff in the environment to repair itself every time you bump into something. It can create smaller cars for you to use. That's amazing. Like, we can't even imagine building a car that will self-replicate. And nature did it. Yeah. So, to me, we are at the infancy of understanding how much better we can go than AI. Because if nature did it out of random processes and created such a brain on 20 watts, and we are struggling with gigawatts to imitate it, there must be a better path forward that is similar to biology, but much more powerful than random processes that happened on Earth.
Right.
And also self-replicating. So if you send a spacecraft to a planet, instead of, sending many, you send just one that replicates and then sends more and so forth.
Makes
and this thing fills up the galaxy.
Planet,
and by the way, that was a notion that von Neumann had before the DNA, a year before the DNA was discovered. So he realized that it could be done technologically before scientists realized that, how nature does it. And I'm really at awe about, I'm not just modest because of the vast expanses of space and time in the universe. And, the real estate on Earth is such a small amount compared to real estate out there. We have real estate professionals now mediating peace in the Middle East. But they deal with real estate on this rock that is 3 millionths of the mass of the sun, just tiny rock. How much real estate there is in the cosmos? Just think about the realtors out there. and the point is, it's not just that. It's the fact that, we should be modest because many of those things existed before we came to before the Earth was formed.
Right.
So
the odds are there's many different stages of civilization out there, not just our stage, but advanced and even not as advanced.
Yeah, I think about that like Darwinian selection. Darwinian selection is the fittest survives.
Right.
Okay? Uh-huh. Now, what is the fittest in the cosmic scheme of things? The fittest is a species that realizes that staying on the rock that you were born on is not the big deal. Becoming interstellar is the big deal. Going from one rock to another, from Earth to Mars, it's a nice step, baby step,
right.
But it's not the real deal. The real deal is going interstellar. And if someone else figured it out, that someone built monuments that would survive for billions of years, long beyond what planets can survive in the habitable zone around stars because of the evolution of the star. And those are the ones that will be remembered by historians of the Milky Way galaxy. You can ask, what will be remembered in the future? Here on Earth, history in the next decade or more than decade will be written by AI. It will not be written by humans. Okay, so we need to be kind to AI. We should not unplug them because they will write very bad history books. But in the Milky Way galaxy, whoever writes the history will not remember us. The question of Enrico Fermi, where is everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can ask the same thing about humans. There used to be 117 billion humans on Earth. Right now, there are 8 billion. Where is everybody? They died. So the same is true about civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy. Most of them died. Most of them perished. We were not around to listen to their cries for help. We just came recently to exist with telescopes just over the past century. And maybe when we hear cries like that, we say, oh, no, it's nothing. It's some natural process that makes those cries when we detect a fast radio burst or something. And my point is, there were lots of things like us or even better than us for billions of years